Besides my family history, there are other things that could affect my risk of getting breast cancer. Having children young and breastfeeding can reduce my risk, whereas drinking loads of alcohol and being overweight would have the opposite effect. But the main factor is age. Older women are much more likely to develop breast cancer, which is why most aren't offered screening until they're 50. Sadly though, this sometimes results in a few younger low-risk women being missed. One such woman is Kristen Hallinger, whose cancer may have been missed because she's just 23 years old. How did you find out that you had breast cancer?
Well, I went to the doctors quite some time before I was actually diagnosed, and that was roughly about 10 months before I was diagnosed. And I went with a very lumpy breast. She just said, oh, it's hormonal, you know, it's nothing. And at the time I had actually told her that my grandma had it when she was 30, but it wasn't until I demanded a referral that I was actually seen by a consultant. And then eventually they did a biopsy.
And when you had your biopsy, what did they find?
Well, straight away they knew that it was breast cancer carcinoma. And then because I'd been having pains in my back, they wanted to investigate that. And that's when they found out that I had a tumour on my lumbar spine as well.
Do you feel really angry about the fact that you were let down?
Yes, but anger's not really very healthy at the moment for me, so I've kind of just thought, you know what?
I guess there's only one way to be with it, isn't there? And just go, right, I have to get through this.
Just got to face it. And a lot of people think, you know, I couldn't do that, that's really brave of you, but I think everyone has this action stations in them somewhere and think, right, I need to get on with it because, you know, why not?
What is your prognosis now?
I mean, I know I'm never going to be cured because it's already in my spine and that's not going to be able to be removed. And I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. But as long as I can, you know, have a good quality of life for the amount that I do have, then I'll be happy with that.
Chris invited me to accompany her to the hospital where she was having chemotherapy. Her twin sister, Maren, came along for moral support. As an identical twin, you must have been quite frightened for yourself when she got diagnosed.
Yeah. I was more frightened for her initially, obviously, and the thought that I could have it didn't even cross my mind to begin with. It was just all, you know, about the fact that she's got it. It was only when she said to me, they want you in straight away to check that you haven't got it, that I really thought, you know, well, you know, it could be me as well.
The words chemotherapy and cancer seem to go hand in hand. I knew about the unpleasant side effects like losing your hair and it making you feel sick, but if I'm honest, I didn't really know exactly what chemotherapy involved. And I was quite surprised to find out it was a series of injections.
50, 50, all your 25 mils, 25. Can you just clarify your date of birth for me, Kristen?
11th, 85.
Correct, you win the prize. Okay.
This is the one that makes you feel uncomfortable, is it?
It just gives me a funny taste in my mouth. Yeah, and usually I get all this blocked sinusy and itchiness and a bit of a headache.
I'm quite surprised at what chemotherapy actually physically is, but what happens when it goes into the vein? Like, it's all these chemicals at once going in, and what, does it instantly shrink the tumour, or is it something that happens over a couple of weeks?
It's very rare for you to see a very quick response to chemotherapy. Mostly it happens over a number of weeks, and usually you have to have probably 2 lots of chemotherapy, so 6 weeks typically, for you to actually see a response in a cancer. Sometimes, if you've got a lump that you can see or the symptoms that somebody has, you can see a response sooner than that.
Right.
But that as much depends on an individual cancer as it does on an individual person.
And does everyone respond differently to it? Because you said you haven't felt sick at all yet, have you?
Yes, everyone responds very differently. I mean, I say to people in clinic that most people feel tired, and more tired than they've ever felt before, but for a certain period, and that varies when it happens and how long it happens for. And most people feel sick, but aren't sick. And then the rest of the things that can happen, by hair loss, is anybody's game. Some people get a lot of side effects, and some people wonder if we're giving them chemotherapy at all.
It's just such a surreal image to see someone so young with such a bright attitude going through something so potentially dark. She's, you know, really above it and dealing with it amazingly, but it just felt so unfair. Like, right from the start, you know, she found her lump. She shouldn't be in the situation that she's in now, with it have progressed this far. It shouldn't have happened. It just feels that right from the beginning, she's just had the worst luck. Just kind of looking at her thinking, didn't have to get this far.